Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kind of hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternate Ending. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton. Thanks to our Patreon Not Fenimore, we're doing our top 5 genre mashups this episode. But first, we had a pretty each of us had a memorable.
It's been a full week. We've been keeping ourselves busy.
Yeah, did you keep yourself busy shaping young minds at a high school, talking about podcasts and movie reviews?
I mean, shaping young minds, no. No, I was dealing, but I do that every week. That's not special.
We were in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Near your hometown? No, we got offered. Carrie has a lot of friends in the teaching biz. And we got offered for Writers Week to come out and talk about our process, about alternate ending, how movie reviews are done, how podcasts are made. We have half of that knowledge.
So you I was going to say, you told the children how to write movie reviews.
Oh, yes, we did.
Did you?
I covered it for you.
All right.
I covered
Sounds
it.
good.
That was your section.
It was. I
Yes.
covered you and me.
I mean, you have mastered the art of finding pull quotes for our Twitter page that are positive for movies you like that I did not like.
It's called creative writing.
I get it.
So
we had the opportunity to go over to Antioch Community High School. That's a suburb in northern suburb of Illinois. And had the opportunity. Originally, we were supposed to cover 3 periods of English classes. So for Writers Week,
but after the first one, they said you'd done enough, and
they said it's enough, and a workshop as well too. So a few select students were able to record a podcast with us. We were stressing out about it leading up to it, particularly myself. And Carrie wasn't stressed until the night before, and then we were actually our first practice the night before, and she was
Didn't go well.
We can't do this.
Because I was making weird jokes, and Rob's like, that, they're not going to get that. That's not actually really funny.
Well, and because we don't really know what we're doing.
Yeah, well, they're children, so they don't have the right cultural frame of reference to understand anything that any of us talk about. And also, whereas I just like to rely on blue humor when I don't have anything else, you can't just run off with rattle of curses in front of a child at high school.
That's true.
You get arrested.
It's true. So Rob opted for this joke. This was his really good lead-in that was going to build up the excitement. So he played the little montage of ourselves that's on our website.
Did you play the one where we talk about how the alien from Alien is a penis?
No. The About Us. Where movies
About
are
Us.
about...
Oh, sure, that.
And then afterwards, Rob's like, so, I love that movie clip, but the only thing is, they dress better than we do.
That was my opening joke.
And then it's no one would laugh.
The other one was a rip on Tim for not being there because, I thought that was a good joke, the Tim one, where we thought it would be somewhat misguided to ask Tim to ditch school to come to a school event.
Rob made me say that terrible joke. No one laughed there either. So I was like,
was this your punishment to Carrie for the whole Indiana Jones quoting debacle from last time?
He had this little script. I'm like, unfortunately, Tim cannot be here today because we think that would be sending the wrong message to tell him to ditch school.
Is this actually the words you had her speak?
Yes.
You're a bad man.
But then I knocked you down because it was actually Carrie's birthday on Monday as well. So that's how we celebrated her birthday. So that got some cheers.
We got some cheers for that. That was about it.
I do want to say that during the workshop with the small groups, a lot of talented kids out there who we threw up the mics in front of them and we just kind of Carrie coached them a little bit on how an episode comes together.
I was like, here's how to make things really articulate and here's how to pronounce names.
Did you use that exact voice the entire day?
I did. Good. And I feel like it caught with them. Yeah. I feel like it resonated for sure.
No, but the groups that we had, very talented groups of individuals, they ended up with the podcast of their own to take home. And I'm excited about the future of our
podcasting.
Of your presenting in high schools?
And presenting in high schools.
Yeah.
Thought it went well.
We need new material. We could tell we were aged out. We were like, a couple of the jokes, the main teacher that was clearly our age came up and was like, Yeah, I'm like getting your jokes. I just want you to know I'm getting them. And we're like, thanks.
We made it through 4 periods without any types of like criticism or jokes, and then the last group had some hooligans in there. But I didn't really get what they were trying to do. They were asking, "Have you seen The Dictator?" And I was like, "You mean the Sacha Baron Cohen movie?" And they're like, "Oh, shit. Yeah, he's seen it.
He's good. He's good, man."
What about The Interview? I was like, the Seth Rogen. Like, if you're gonna ask, and I don't. Maybe you know, Tim.
I'm real confused. When he said dictator, I thought it was gonna be like a dick thing. But
I thought it was a dick thing,
I thought so too. Maybe it was a dick thing.
I didn't
really get.
Maybe it was a dick
I didn't
thing.
really get where they were going.
I don't know.
in her view, I don't know.
We were like, yeah, man, good one.
It's like, have you ever seen a Marx Brothers movie, you little shit? That's what you should have said.
Could have done it.
You should have been there with us. You should have been there.
That was our.
Gotten so fucking drunk and just screamed at the children about how they don't watch enough.
I had a good time. Really enjoyed spending time. I'd do it again. Now that we're prepared, somewhat. We changed the jokes up a bit. But
yeah.
What about you, Tim?
I'll work on the jokes with you. I spend my time around younger people than you do. Not that I can tell them jokes. I think they mostly laugh out of me out of pity. But so for me, it's been a very different kind of busy week. It is currently we are in the throes of the Wisconsin Film Festival, the 20th annual Wisconsin Film Festival.
What's the draw for that? How many people come in?
Many. Most of the shows have been at least 3/4 sold out. I've been in a couple that were fully sold out at this point. So it's just movies that you don't get a chance to see otherwise. So Madison has a pretty substantial film buff population, I'd say, between the school and people who graduated from the school and just, people who are the kind of upper middle class bougie 60-year-olds who live in towns like Madison. They like to go see art movies for whatever reason. So I've logged in quite a few films at this point.
Less than 24?
Less than 24. I mean, it's only a week-long festival, and I go to classes. I think
last week you saw 24 movies, I thought.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I haven't seen 24 movies, just not at the festival.
Oh, okay. Obviously.
Yeah, so it's been wearying, but I've been keeping a little diary up on the site, and we're trying to figure out whether I have the legal right to actually write reviews of these movies quite yet. But once that's clarified, like full-length reviews are going to start happening on the site as well. So
cool.
Well, let's talk a little bit of movies by getting into our worth mentioning segment. What is the worth mentioning segment of the movies we've seen since the last episode? Which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. We shared them either way. Kara, in this event-fulfilled week, how many movies did you end up watching?
3.
Not bad.
Saw 3. I caught the Pill movie. What was that one?
You didn't stay up through
that.
No,
I did. I watched
Netflix,
it again. I stayed up and watched it again last night. Yeah, I did. I finished it.
Wow.
It was about, what was it called again?
I think pills. I don't know.
It was a movie about taking ADD pills. So I watched that.
But you couldn't focus on it.
No, obviously not. So then I also caught The Greatest Showman.
Oh, I'm so glad you finally saw that.
I know you were excited.
Did you love that? Is that your new favorite movie?
We'll talk about it.
Ooh.
And then what was the last one I saw, Rob? I saw another one.
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
I saw 3.
Okay.
So the one, I saw 3. What about you?
I saw 14. So I take it back. It was not 24, but it also was not spring break. So I think that's in my defense.
You were busy, yeah.
I was a little bit busy. I had to go to like classes and teach people. So I saw a bunch of movies, many of which were not new to me. So I don't feel like it would be fair to bring them up as a worth mentioning. But just as a quick little like note. So as I said, I've been seeing stuff at the festival. I've been, as I always do, try to focus on things that are like going to be really hard to find later on. So I don't want to tell you, hey, you should see this movie that I only got to see and you might get to see in like 8 years. But I will just quickly throw something out, a movie that's opening in New York and LA in a couple weeks on the 20th of April. The film in question is Godard Mon Amour. It is a comic biopic of Jean-Luc Godard, directed and adapted by Michel Hazanavicius, who directed The Artist, for which he won the Oscar. Before that, a couple parody films about OSS 117, the James Bond-esque French spy. So it's a film that comes with a certain degree of pedigree, and I'm here to tell you, no, don't bother. It's going to come out. It's going to get some tepid positive reviews. Probably end up just barely scraping above fresh on Rotten Tomatoes would be my guess. Maybe high 60s. It was a film that did not get a whole lot of acclaim out of Cannes 2017 when it premiered, and I totally understand why. It's it's a film that will only make sense as a plot to people who know Godard films really well, and the people who know Godard films really well are going to view all the jokes as being super cheap and like obvious.
Interesting.
So there's no audience for this film, because if you're smart enough to understand what the hell is happening, you're too smart to actually enjoy it.
So one of the few you've brought to the table where you're like, no, just don't bother.
Well, I mean, typically I like to try and boost things, but I don't really, everything I saw that I liked is something like, I've been rewatching Wes Anderson films, so I don't want to be like, hey, you guys, you should see the Royal Tenenbaums, because like, you know that you should see the Royal Tenenbaums, and you probably saw it 15 years ago, so.
Very good.
But yeah, so Godard more, thumbs down.
All right. Care, what about you? Out of the three, which one
I guess I'll go Greatest Showman. Because I remember Tim saying to me when we did our top of 2017 that this would be in my list and that it was probably a miss because I hadn't seen it. And so, again, saw it. And I don't know if you know, but it's a musical.
I didn't know that you don't like musicals.
I don't like musicals.
You like La La Land?
That's the only musical I've ever liked. So I think that would have. I think so.
You haven't seen Singing in the Rain, though, right?
Is that the guy that like skips around and then he like goes around the light pole?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen
like
that.
one.
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay.
No.
If you didn't like Singing in the Rain, I don't know what we would do.
What we would do? Yeah, you just leave
Maybe
right
we'll just
now.
have to never watch it just in case you'd end up disliking it.
So that was the upside. I knew there was going to be some singing in this, but I was so prepared.
It's a very song-heavy musical.
Super. I'm okay with La La Land singing. This was like over the top. They just they couldn't stop singing. They couldn't stop dancing. They were just like,
they couldn't stop singing. They couldn't stop dancing.
I was like,
That's what makes it art.
I
It's
know.
not art. It's a fine movie.
It was no. And so I expected to be inspired by this movie because I went in with clear expectations because every literal person that I met was like, Carrie, this is your bag. Like, you're going to love this. I had friends that love this, friends that love musicals that are casual.
Sure.
Moviegoers, and but at the same time too, so I went in thinking, okay, they all know that I would love if it was a character study on I knew there was a bearded woman in there. I wanted it to be, dissecting her feelings, and I wanted it to be more about the characters that were in it, I think.
Sure.
And so for me, the character development fell really short. On top of which, I thought it was going to be about like all of these people who had really low confidence, and that the movie was about how do we bring them together and build them up, and how do we make them better and make them feel great about themselves. And it wasn't that.
No, the Oscar-nominated song is about that, but literally no other facet of the movie is about that.
And I think that's what I thought it was going to be. So I was pumped for that. It wasn't that. I didn't like how there were a variety of conflicts for each of the main characters that played out independently, and yet the whole movie was so fast-paced that you never actually felt connected to any of the characters, in my opinion. I didn't really care about any of the characters. And so a few of the characters did these really awful things to each other or to other people. And then it was kind of more like, oops, sorry. And then it was quickly resolved. Like everything resolved itself too quickly for me. And so I'm still mad at certain characters. And I was like, I wouldn't forgive so-and-so, and I wouldn't date so-and-so.
Who are you?
What do you mean?
And what have you done with my Carrie? This is very thoughtful.
It is very. I feel like I feel like I'm providing a good influence on it. Like you said, so many like narrative, like script-oriented concerns. I was really happy with.
Yeah, this is stuff that I thought.
If you do this too much longer, you and I have to swap places.
I don't know.
Historically, you would have let it just slide by because honestly, I like it's a saccharine-filled movie, and it was smooth enough to go down. And I was like, I didn't want to like it, but I was like, I like this movie, and that's surprising to come.
No.
Yeah, I guess going forward, I will not be able to. So I've been using the rubric. Like, oh, this movie was inoffensive but cute. I'll bet Carrie would love it. I now know that you're more sophisticated than that, and yet you still loved Love, Simon. So I just don't know.
Love, Simon was so the best.
So what are you giving this? I'm curious.
I gave it 2.5.
All right.
Surprising.
I did not enjoy this movie.
Despite the tears in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
It was just the song. The music would make me, and that's the thing. I actually liked the songs in this.
Interesting. I did not.
I know you didn't, but I did. I'm always a sucker for like a build-up, enthusiasm song. Like, again, I loved the This Is Me song that was up for an Oscar, but it didn't then that song I kept waiting for that song, and then it was like, oh, we're in a back hallway and it's kind of anticlimactic and I'm going to sing it in a hallway, and it was like, what?
Well, they also sing it in a snowy courtyard.
I thought she was going to walk out into the world and everyone was going to throw roses at her because she's this beautiful woman just with facial hair, and that didn't happen, and I just thought it was disappointing.
All right.
I like your points. Good
points. I will, in future, I'll be a lot more cagey about what I recommend to you.
Yeah.
I saw a great movie at the festival about a Protestant priest who wants to kill himself. It sounds like it'd be right up your alley.
As long as it's not a musical.
It's not a musical.
Okay.
It does have some hymns. They sing hymns.
I'm struggling to believe that you gave it 2.5 and Tim and I both gave it 3. 3.5.
Yeah, I felt really empty.
Yeah, no, that Carrie is the most anti-Greatest Showman person in this room is definitely
it shocks
the
me
biggest
too.
twist in the history of this podcast.
It shocks me.
Well, for me, the worth mentioning I'm bringing to the table is we're closing out 2017's Patreon list for Carrie and I for our worth mentioning pick. Zev Burrows was our last 2017 contributor, and we finally caught up with his pick for us, The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. Carrie, it's a movie that you saw with your grandparents?
Yeah, when I was down in Georgia several months ago.
And I just recently saw it on a trip. Directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, who did Mankiewicz, thank you, who did All About Eve and Cleopatra.
Let's not tar his name. He did so many movies that are better than Cleopatra.
Oh, I thought. See, I don't know.
Cleopatra is one of the most famous money losers in the history.
What did he do?
A Letter to Three Wives is probably the other, but that's the other one he won his Oscar for, that and All About Eve. But no, Mankiewicz is a great guy.
I know Cleopatra by now. I didn't realize it was a box office bomb.
That's why you know it, is because it's such a famous bomb.
This one stars Gene Tierney, Rex Harrison, George Sanders. Takes place in 1900. So it's a widow. That happens. That's established right away. She wants to move out of her. I guess you stay when you're a widow. And a woman in the 1900s, you don't really have anywhere to go, so you kind of stay with your family. And she's kind of like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to stay with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. I kind of want to take my daughter.
She could only spend a widow time with her family.
Yes, exactly. And for some reason, she's drawn to the sea.
I love speech impediment jokes, by the way.
That's not something to necessarily admit.
You're brag about that?
No, keep going.
I like jokes when they make their hand go back and forth like gay people.
That's what I did. It was just cute because widow. Okay, go on.
So Gene Tierney's character takes her daughter, takes is it the maid? Is it what's the proper term?
There's a word.
Moves him out.
Yeah.
Wants to go live by the sea. She's drawn to the sea for some reason. So this takes place in England. So she moves out to the country on the sea, and she's looking for homes, and meets up with a real estate agent. And there's a particular home that the real estate agent is not wanting to show her, and that's the one she's actually most curious in seeing. Come to find that it is haunted by an old sea captain named Rex Harrison.
Well, I mean, the sea captain is not named Rex Harrison.
Oh, no, it's not. It's
he's
something
named
Greg.
Captain Greg.
Captain Greg. And
Rex
Daniel
Harrison.
Greg.
Rex
Daniel Greg.
No,
Rex Harrison
he's
plays.
James Bond.
Daniel. No,
No, you're right. It is Daniel Greg. Rex Harrison is the wonderful, wonderful actor who plays Captain Daniel
So
Craig,
the movie's pretty sweet.
who is not a pirate.
The set pieces are really magnificent. It's fun watching these kind of this movie takes place is shot in 1947. The set pieces that they had were so great.
You seem shocked every time movies from prior to 1980 weren't made by rubbing charcoal on a white sheet.
You don't see set pieces like this,
Sure you do.
Whole cities built.
This is why you watch old movies.
Oh no, in old movies you don't see it anymore.
No, because new movies suck.
Yeah. I mean, I loved seeing all of the actual. They made an entire city for the movie, or they reused old cities for this movie, and it was really neat to see all of that stuff. I really enjoyed it. So the movie deals then with going forward with he established himself as the ghost. He doesn't want people around because he's built his house a particular way. He wants to keep it that way. They work out a deal where he won't bug her, she won't bug him, but they start developing a little bit of an affection for one another. Mm-hmm. Another person enters her life as well too, and it goes a little bit back and forth. Overall, I thought it was a really, really cute movie. I enjoyed it. I wanted to know more about what was going on, so it had me hooked pretty much the entirety of the movie. It gets 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's worth.
Really?
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
It's absolutely
this is a
worth
bona fide critic. Movie critics adore this movie.
There's nothing to it that you could dislike.
Exactly.
I gotta say, Rex Harrison's pirate voice and laugh and everything.
He's not a pirate.
He's not a pirate.
Sorry.
He's a seaman.
He is a seaman. Yes,
Yeah.
he does not like to be called whatever the other term is.
Yeah.
But Gene Tierney was excellent as kind
Is
of
she
the.
not literally the prettiest person you've
Very
ever
beautiful.
seen in your
Great
entire
cheekbones.
life?
She is
Great
a
cheekbones.
very pretty human being.
Shockingly, awkwardly stunning. You can't not look at her and think she's just mesmerizing.
In a movie a little bit ahead of its time, just putting the
I
female.
mean, this was when women on ghost action was not considered socially acceptable. So very, very progressive film.
Yeah.
Progressive in that way. Also, that she's kind of flippant to other people, and like women in this role were kind of more subservient and kind of follow the rules. And she's kind of on her own, doing her own thing, and kind of an independent.
She wants
woman.
She wants to demonstrate that she can live on her own, that she can fix a house on her own, that she can do all of these things without the help of anybody else. And so, yeah, she goes out there, and she's less shocked than I would be that there's a man in her home.
Yeah, it's very, very accepting of that.
Very
of that
accepting
fact,
of the fact. And then she sort of adapts to it really quickly and moves some things around and adjusts for him. But yeah, and I won't go into this for people who haven't seen it, but I really, really enjoyed this. My grandparents love this movie too, especially my grandma. But loved the ending of this movie.
The ending of this movie is so fucking
good. So good.
I like the movie. The ending pushes it up to like 4.5 star territory all by itself.
Yeah, and I think so. Again, if you haven't seen this, it's an oldie. It plays on. This was on TV when we were
that's how you
down
found
there.
it? Oh,
Yeah,
This one
okay.
gets a decent amount of TV play because it's liked. It's one of those movies that every time someone sees it on cable, they'll be like, "Oh, it's that lovely movie with Rex Harrison as a ghost. I'll watch that." People show it to their children. No, this is totally a rock
not
solid
scary.
classic. No, it's not.
It's not scary. You could
it is
totally
not a
show
horror
it to your
film.
kids.
It's a love story. It's a straight up. I mean, you couldn't
is
show
a
it to
love
your kids
story.
like
I
there's
know.
some ghost boning going on in this movie.
No, there's like some ghost.
It's implied.
There's some ghost meandering that may happen here, but I also really enjoyed this movie, probably even more than Rob, maybe on par with Tim.
Yeah, to me, this is like a candidate for one of the best love stories in the 1940s.
Yeah,
Wow, very
it's
nice.
really good. So I really appreciate
was set
that.
to be remade by with Connery, Sean Connery, and
Really?
Michelle Pfeiffer, which that would be pretty.
Actually,
sweet.
that's not
That
that
would be
bad.
pretty sweet.
Maybe.
I mean, now
90s. In the
Okay.
90s. Before one of Connery's and Pfeiffer's movies bombed or something. So there was a movie in the 90s where they were both
I know
in.
there was a TV series based on it.
Okay.
So
Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. You may want to make us watch a movie, have Tim write a review, or pick your own episode topic. You can do it all from our Patreon page. Celebrating 1-year anniversaries this month on Patreon, Brendan McAllister and Jochin Medias. Thank you for your continued support. Happy anniversary. Also, I want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on the Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here were the things that were purchased. Someone having a little trouble with their potty at a universal toilet
Unilax?
tank flusher
Oh.
lever. Chrome.
yeah, they're kind of proud with their potty.
You know,
Fits most toilets.
or Miralax, that's what I meant.
Miralax, yes. They're going to be disappointed if that fits most toilets, that they're not part of that grouping. Also, outdoors items purchased, Honest portable camping cookware, mess kit, folding cook set for hiking.
We have a camping
Avid camper.
freak on our podcast.
Comes
I
with
like it.
Comes with a spork. Why aren't
As it should.
As it should.
If it is a mess kit.
Do you have a spork in your house?
I buy sporks when I need them. I'm a spork purist. I believe these sporks should only be made out of like very cheap plastic. None of these metal
One of those
sporks
ones that
for
like
me.
breaks off in your
I'm not
mouth a little
fancy.
bit.
We also had some Kindle ebooks purchased, The Essential Guide to Freelance Writing. Tim, you could pick up, you could use that.
I think your mom should pick it up for me the next time I go to her house.
Burn.
Also, I thought my burden was better.
I don't know. I didn't really catch what you said.
1984 also purchased on Kindle ebook, so appreciate that. Digital music, quite a few music purchases. Manifest Destiny. I'm not going to know what albums these are for. Manifest Destiny, Das Nation, Dramones, Go Girl Crazy, Radio Farm, The Desaturating 7, and Deuce.
You know what we should do
what's
next
this
time?
accent?
Next time you talk to high schoolers, you should just take the list of music that was bought and be like, "Do you know who any of these people are?" And then that can be like your conversational icebreaker.
That is an excellent point. So when I was like, oh, we're going to actually have to have some music to overlay with your podcast. And so I was like, hey guys, like what's hip right now? Like The Fray, maybe? And they were like, ew.
Right. You know what I said?
I'm surprised they're old enough to know that the Fray was ever something that existed.
You know what I
trying to
said?
be
You know what I
cool.
said, Tim? I said, how about the Bleachers? And they were
And they're
like,
like,
I love the
yeah.
Bleachers.
And I was like, what I meant to say was the Bleachers.
And
you know why I know the Bleachers?
I have no idea.
Love Simon.
Simon.
That's who.
Oh, were they the ones who did those shitty songs in Love Simon?
Rude. Rude.
The kids love them.
I'm sure the kids have never had good taste. There's been no point in human civilization when teenagers knew what good music sounded
We
like.
also had some Amazon Instant Videos purchase, The Thick of It, Season 1. Not familiar with that one.
Nice choice.
Oh, Tim likes it. Tim likes
Thick of It, I was just talking about in our review of Death of Stalin, which you clearly haven't read.
Oh, nice.
I read it.
You also mentioned this one, I believe, at the same time, was In the Loop.
In the Loop, The Thick of It is a TV sitcom of which In the Loop is a spin-off, both made by the writer-director of Death of Stalin and later Veep, Armando Iannucci.
Very nice. Care, one that we have to catch up on, 50 Shades of Grey on Amazon Instant Video, the unrated edition.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that so? That's the first one.
That's the first one.
Okay.
Then also The Wolfman, from 1941's.
Okay,
As
that's
well as
The Good Wolfman.
The Good Wolfman, as well as Phantom of the Opera from 1943.
That is not the good one.
Oh, what's the good Phantom of the Opera?
The 20s version.
Okay.
I think it's MGM. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Universal. No, it must be Universal. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Also on
a little too melodramatic.
DVD, Last Tango in Paris, the uncut version on Blu-ray. Very nice. DVD, A Separation on Blu-ray. I keep saying DVD then Blu-ray. Blu-ray, Dario Argento's Opera
On DVD?
on Blu-ray.
Oh.
Yes.
Wait, that's on Blu-ray already?
Oh.
Oh no, I did know about this, and I
You're gonna wanna
decided
go grab it?
to wait until there's going to be a special edition sometime later this year, so I was going to wait for that. But no, excellent movie, very good choice.
Everybody's enabling Tim's
I know.
Blu-ray purchasing.
I know.
No purchases of God's Not Dead on instant video by any chance?
No, not-
Why can I not? I got the link. I made an automatic link just for that product and used it to
Oh
buy
my
the movie.
gosh.
That's weird. They know.
They know.
Amazon
There must
knows.
be some sort of fucking cookie where they know it's me and they won't let us do that.
Cookie.
When we get back, our top 5 genre mashups. And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 genre mashups, Care. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Why?
What?
Why have you decided that is the accent to use to say the word genre?
I like to mix it up.
What's
All
the
right.
I like to
alternative?
mash it up.
I get it.
Yeah.
I
What would
like
you
it.
have used?
I just wouldn't have used an accent.
Just your regular voice.
Yes.
Your regular voice has kind of an
voice
accent,
isn't good
though.
enough. No, I struggled with this,
I know you did.
y'all.
Well,
I like saying you guys.
genre is like the style of a film, is what it means.
No, I struggled with trying to narrow down what this means, what a mashup means, because it's so broad. I feel like movies these days, for the most part, have some sort of mix in with it. So, am I just talking about all movies? So I struggle with it.
You're gonna
Care-
have a boring ass list.
I did. If I did that, I didn't end up doing that. What did you end up doing, Care?
I just chose movies that I could think of that I enjoyed that had as many genres as possible.
So more genres. Had a lot of
More
genres.
genres, the better. So I wouldn't choose anything that had less than 4 genres.
Interesting.
So your definition of qualification is the more genres.
More genres,
the
the better.
lot of genres.
Lot of genres.
Is that how you ranked it as well too, or then from there the most genres then?
Hybrid genre, hybrid quality of movie. So if you tied for the most genres, then
Quality was the deal
quality
breaker.
was the deal breaker,
I mean,
the
it's-
tiebreaker.
That's something.
Yeah.
That's
That's
one
actually
way
very
to do
systematic.
It.
I
Yeah.
admire that.
Thanks. What did you guys do?
For me, it was more just like, are there 2 things happening in this film that feel different? Like there's 2 genres that are in some way incongruous. We do not expect to see these things put in the same place. And it is done so successfully.
Okay.
Is sort of my role.
So just the 2 genres there.
Well, as many genres as needed, although I think for there to be more than 2 genres being mashed up, and I'm using potentially a much more like broad strokes definition of genre than you are, and I think we'll probably get into that when we start discussing our lists. I will not say that 2 was a limitation. I will not say that there was a number that was required, as long as there were at least 2 that were things that didn't feel like they should go together.
What's your most genres?
Well, you'll have to find out.
I guess I will.
I will say I put one thoroughly arbitrary limitation on this list. There's no reason for it. Actually, I should say 2. It's the same arbitrary, but it's the same restriction in 2 different ways. One of the genres being mashed up could not be comedy. just because I think that makes it.
So no rom-coms.
No, well, I think rom-com is already a genre. It's not even a genre mashup, really. I mean,
Obviously, yes.
Maybe in the 14th century when they created the genre of the romantic comedy, it was new, but it has not been new for a very long time. Your list is 5 romantic comedies, isn't it?
You'll have to find out.
But more to the point, no horror comedies. Just because for me it was like, I mean, I could do a top 5 horror comedies easily, but it's lazy, and there's just too many horror comedies for me to pretend that it's not like an established genre on its own. And the other arbitrary thing, anything that sounds like a genre mashup but happens often enough or fits well enough that it kind of like doesn't seem incongruous, basically is my way of saying no. Again, with horror, no horror sci-fi and no action sci-fi.
What do you mean no horror sci-fi?
Horror sci-fi, there's so many of them. There's so many of them.
I only know just the 2, so here we are.
There's like hundreds, but they will apparently only 2 of them.
Well, again, since I have 6 genres per
Sure, well,
thing,
that's
then
true.
we're
So
fine.
you got to be
We're
mashing
fine.
up a lot more genres. Yeah, for me, it's just like, I mean, Alien, great film, slasher movie in space, but it's a fucking horror sci-fi movie, and there's been a billion of them. It was a good one, but there's been a billion of them.
All right, what's your
It's very close to Tim until that last bit. So if we
you got a lot of
Alien is your number 1.
you got a lot of horror-fies?
this is just like Back to the Future all over again.
No, again, mine were not about like being intellectually consistent. It's about having a list that I didn't think was boring, and 5 horror comedies would have been boring.
So like Tim, I excluded comedies because that's just.
You can have a comedy.
'Cause
You
it
just
can be
can't
funny.
mix it with something that's typical, like a rom-com or a horror
No, because that's just being like a movie's funny, has funny
Yeah.
bits in it. Like
Like
so what?
There are
Like,
Western comedies, there are action comedies, there are horror comedies.
But what if it was a rom Western comedy?
Well, now we're
You
getting
know?
someplace.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
still like like in romance. I actually excluded romance too. Romance
This is
comedies
very arbitrary.
And Timmy, on the way over,
Yeah, to
you
me,
had said,
romance is more of a plot structure than a genre, which I know is a really, 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 really fine hair to split. But yeah,
So I excluded those. Like Tim, I wanted to reward things that provided me cognitive dissonance, where I'm like, wait, what? You're gonna
be scary?
You're gonna bring these 2 things together? It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Like I've never seen that before. I can't picture how that would go together.
Oh, man.
And I rewarded that more.
So yours isn't on that I liked the movie more. Yours is more shock factor of the blend.
Yes, that's what I tried to do. This
Okay.
was really hard for me.
This was hard.
This is really hard, particularly because it took me a while to come up with the fact that I wanted to exclude comedies. So yeah, I finally got there. I felt good about that. And then I was just trying to reward movies that provided me that, like,
Sure.
what? These 2 genres? That doesn't make any sense. And
Yeah.
somehow it worked.
Okay.
And in fact, I think all of my movies are almost all above 90% Rotten Tomatoes.
It's nice for
many,
you.
Many in the top 250 IMDb.
Cool.
that's too bad.
I like that. That's a
We know you
quality
do.
That
for
is a
me
bad list.
That
We know you
reflects
like
well
your
on me.
It is
stats.
a list that reflects that you like movies that are enjoyed by racist 17-year-old boys.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. When we were at our high school thing, they're like, "What's your favorite movie?" And I was like, "My favorite movie is Indiana Jones." And they were like, "Boo."
By the way,
and then
Archaeology and Nazis, not a genre mashup.
no,
Not even if you add a love story to it.
that made to my number 6 because I knew you'd call me out.
All right.
But Rob's like, Fight Club, and they're like, but you can't talk about Fight Club, and they did this like thing, and I was like, oh my god,
Fight Club still holds up. Oh, one other thing on genre mashups.
Okay.
For me, independently, it needed to stand up and meet the litmus test of its own genre. So, like,
Okay.
if it's a Western movie, I could
Okay.
go to Western Lover and be like, "Hey, you would like this movie." And
Okay.
if it's a
Oh.
whatever the other mix is,
Sure.
I
I
don't
don't
go to
think
that
I have
person. And
that.
I'd say, "Hey, here's this other
This
movie,
comedy, or you
and
can't
even
do
though it's
comedy.
not the same genre, it needs to hold up within
In its own genre.
It needs to stand alone. It's acceptable.
I think
is the
that
word.
neither my 1 nor my 2 will survive that criteria.
like Men in
Interesting.
Black, right?
That's just what is it? Men in Black? Yeah. What
I'm
about
just
it?
saying.
Okay.
Saying that would be an
That
example of what
stands
you're
up as
saying. It's a sci-fi because
sci-fi
you got lots of
comedy.
aliens, but you also have like the
If
cop
comedies
people.
included, yes.
And
But
this,
it's also
see, this is
crime.
an example of
Crime
why I
is a
feel like
genre,
I
though.
cannot. Yeah, but I would say it doesn't hold up as a crime movie.
Oh, for sure does.
What Men in?
There's
All
lots
right,
of
let's
crime.
move.
All right.
Number 5 to you.
I mean,
Men
he's
So
in
number
Cop.
5 to me, this was another part of my
It's a
criteria.
detective story,
I
film noir,
originally,
sci-fi.
it is. I know. I didn't include it, but it could be. So for me, I was going to try and stay away from parodies at first because I was going to be cool. Because remember, I learned about parodies because we did that episode a while ago, and then I was like, well, I know what a parody is. I don't want to do that because it feels like a cheat. But then I did anyway. And so here I am with my 2014 pick, What We Do in the Shadows.
I don't think, it is a parody, but I wouldn't say that parody is a disqualifier here.
No. So this one is a horror, comedy, fantasy, drama. 4 genres
you've
within this
missed
movie.
one.
Which one?
Documentary.
That is a documentary?
By the way,
It's a fake documentary, but it's
a mockumentary.
It follows the very clear form of a documentary.
So I've got 5 on
You've got
this
5,
one.
so you need
I've
to
got
re-rank
5.
your list, clearly.
Oh my gosh, I got to move this up against the next one. So this is actually my number 4 now, but I'll do a little switcheroo later. I want to stand up for any opportunity to talk about this movie ever, but if you've missed this movie, I talked about it before. This is Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi directed and wrote this one. Hilarious. Just hilarious. I think I even used the word hilarious balls the last time I talked about this and it got weird, but it still feels weird. Like I
don't know why you're talking about Jermaine Clement's hilarious balls.
It's
One of your husband, especially.
I know. So this is like super funny.
You and I can talk about it off the
We
air.
will
Totally.
on the outtakes. So documentary style film, like you said, mockumentary.
Yeah.
But it looks at all these vampires and that are striving to get along in like a roommate situation. Hilarious movie. Jermaine Clement's in this, who plays a vampire, I think. Taika Waititi
does
plays a
play a
vampire
vampire.
too. Deacon is like a spirit. I don't know what he is. And Peter's something else. Never miss this movie. Hilarious. And it's so many
might be
things
streaming
together.
still, so yeah, still
You
an
can catch it on
opportunity to check
Netflix.
it out.
You should.
I
One
did,
of the best comedies of the current decade.
I did disqualify. I forgot to mention documentaries and dramas. Drama to me,
This is a
every movie
mockumentary.
has dramatic drama in it.
This is
Every
a
movie.
mockumentary, though.
I understand.
Yeah.
I thought about films that are documentaries that also have a clear genre within that, like The Thin Blue Line, but I decided that
Mr. Holland's Opus.
That was
Yeah.
going to be a little bit too on brand, so I decided not to do it.
So that was my number 5.
Nice, good movie.
Well,
What's it to yours?
My number 5, we don't even have to leave the world of vampires, because my number 5 is a vampire western. Plus a little bit of a crime thriller. It is
Okay.
1987's Near Dark.
Whoa,
Never heard of
nice,
this.
good
Directed
pull.
by Catherine Bigelow. Later, the Oscar-winning director of The Hurt Locker, also known for Zero Dark 30, which came out a few years ago. This is a really just awesome, dark, literally, like it's sort of everything takes place in this like night dusk sort of situation, where a kid joins up with a group of really cool traveling criminals who turn out to even be cooler because they're traveling vampires. But along the way, he realizes that, oh, fuck, they're vampires and they are evil and are going to cause all sorts of untold evil and destruction in the world. Adrian Pastar plays the kid. Lance Henriksen plays the like vampire leader.
Did you say comedy in here, too?
It is not a comedy.
No.
Fuck me, no. There's
okay.
not one laugh in this movie. Bill Paxton is in here as one of the vampires. Just a really fun is not the word. It's
No,
not fun.
it
It's
feels
dark.
less
It's
fun.
grimy, but like the good kind of grimy, like the kind that gets you all like worked up and excited. This is really, really good movie about like what if vampires were Old West outlaws, A, and what if we remembered that in the real Old West outlaws were horrifying psychopaths and not the romantic heroes we made them out to be. So it's kind of a revisionist Western vampire movie.
Near Dark.
Near Dark. Great movie.
I feel like I need to see this.
It's a little hard to scrounge up. The DVD went out of print, if I'm not mistaken. I had to get this from the library when I did my Catherine Bigelow kick last summer, which is the first time I saw it. Really satisfying film. I liked this movie a lot. Much better than the other vampire Western I can name, which is John Carpenter's Vampires, which will probably be Rob's number 1.
Probably. Have you seen Near Dark, Rob?
I have, and I do like. It is hard to track down. It's really difficult to find. You can't find it.
Definitely
Yeah.
not streaming.
Yeah, it's
Do you
not
feel like if
streaming.
you turn the lights on, it would help?
Oh, good one.
I like it.
Yeah, but I do see your Western horror, Tim, and I raise you a Western horror with Bone Tomahawk.
Okay.
2015.
Oh,
Have
sure.
you seen this one?
I have seen this. I like it a
Okay.
lot. Actually, that makes sense.
Genre mashup.
Totally.
What are your
Okay.
genres? Actually, I'm going to add a new criteria. All of your genres make into a word as you say it.
Western horror torture porn.
That's like abbreviate the words.
Warcher.
Western
Porn.
horror porner.
You got to fit cannibal in there as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's
yes.
cannibals?
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you probably don't know this because you probably don't watch too many Italian horror films. It's not just a horror film. It is a like really perfect recreation of the Italian cannibal subgenre of the late 1970s.
There you. That's what I was about to say. So it stars Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox, and really maybe the best performance by Richard Jenkins.
It is I'm not going to follow you down that rabbit hole, but that is a good Richard Jenkins performance.
Again?
Richard Jenkins is the guy who's awesome in everything.
Shape of Water, the drumming movie is who I always
love
the
him. The drumming movie. Ghost drummer. Visitor. Thank you.
Visitor.
Yes.
I don't know where you're getting Ghost,
Yep,
but
the Visitor. That's what it
as
is.
Tim said, 4 men set out in the Wild West to rescue a group of captives from cannibalistic cave dwellers. It is a pure-on Western for the most part. The dialogue in it is great.
Such good dialogue.
S. Craig Zoller wrote and directed this movie. Also did Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Which I still need to see. And now that you've reminded me this is the reason I knew his name, now I really need to see
It's
Brawl in
also
Cell Block.
very inventive. Brawl in Cell Block 99. He's doing the new Puppet Master. Some sort of Puppet Master.
Okay, well.
I don't know. That could be good. I like Puppet Master. But Wild West, cannibals, horror movie, torture porn, a little Hostel-esque. It gets pretty graphic. It gets pretty graphic.
It gets about as graphic as I think you can commercially release a film in the United
really?
States.
Is it worse than a Saw movie, graphic-wise?
It's the badness in it is of shorter screen duration.
Okay.
But is of more vivid.
They're like picking fingernails off and
imagination.
stuff.
Oh, so much worse.
The fingernails are the worst.
No, they're not. I promise.
There's other things.
Kurt
They're
Russell,
so much worse.
I believe, has been quoted as saying this is the favorite movie he's ever been a part of.
You can tell in his performance. So this came out right around the same time that he was in that other revisionist violent Western movie whose name is suddenly evading me offhand. Very famous.
Oh.
Hang on. I need to look this up. Kurt Russell.
Not Tombstone.
Not Tombstone.
Is it that skating movie that he was in?
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Kurt Russell was like, this was the best thing he was in Hateful Eight.
Oh,
Jesus.
the Hateful Eight. Sure,
like, I saw this in Hateful Eight like 4 days apart, and I liked him so much better in
Yeah, everybody's having fun. Everybody's having a good time. Made for $1.8 million. And yeah, for me, this is incongruous, as Tim had said, cognitive dissonance, Western horror, torture, cannibals, all in
real
one
good
movie.
stuff. All those fun things.
And
that make for a
standalone,
good Christmas morning. Which
each
is
of
the day I think I watched this.
those things, you take anybody who likes any one of those independent elements, and they would like the movie as a whole. So that was my number 5.
I think people who don't like cannibals might have a harder time with the movie than
I
people
love
who do
cannibals.
like cannibals.
Cannibals are the best.
Like if I show this to my grandfather who likes westerns, I think he
That's
does
true.
not
That's
keep
true.
me in the will.
I guess that's true. Maybe that
It's a
criteria.
good western if you pause it at the 40-minute mark and don't resume it.
All right, number 4. Do you care?
Number 4 to me is technically my number 5.
We're boosting it.
We're boosting it. We're boosting
We're
this one
boosting
down.
the other one. We're boosting this
Right.
down. We're
This next
unboosted.
one I'm bringing to you is a dramance fantasy. But note in there that there was an accent on the 5.
I want to hear where that long eye is.
It's a drama and fantasy.
So
it's
there's a
romantic drama fantasy set in the world of high finance.
Yes.
Is this Fern Gully, Wall Street Never Sleeps?
No. It's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
yeah, I wanted to. I really wanted to, but
didn't
because
you?
of the romantic comedy drama, or
There's no
romantic,
comedy in this.
romantic excluded, drama excluded. So
Oh.
it's just really, I just
Maybe
couldn't
if
do
it was just the two, but you have sci-fi and fantasy in there as well.
too closely related.
So this one is directed by Michael Gondry and written by Charlie Kaufman. This is one of the best movies of all our
my top
times.
5.
Top
Of
5
all
all
time for
time.
me.
It's
But somehow it doesn't make your top 5 genre mashups.
Because it's not mashing the genres.
it's mashing 4 genres.
not the genres that I want to mash.
I'm going to say that I'm on Team Rob on this one, but I like where your head's at, so keep going with it.
You mean with all the genres that are mashed
To me,
up
it's a
into
sci-fi
thing?
film.
So it's a sci-fi because there's romance too.
Well, it's a sci-fi film that has a romantic
And
plotline,
drama,
but as
too,
pointed out,
it's very
I
sad.
believe romance to be a narrative structure, not a genre.
It's very sad too. And then there's very dramatic things that happen in there because tell me if this doesn't feel dramatic to you. But let's pretend you're Jim Carrey. Let's pretend you over there, you are Kate Winslet.
That would be Rob.
Pretend
All right,
I'm
all right. I'm
pretend I'm Tom
getting in the
Wilkinson.
headspace. Okay.
I'm Tom
Joel.
Wilkinson.
I'm trying to remember any specific lines of dialogue that Jim Carrey says.
All I remember is Joel.
Okay.
And I have
Your name
different
is
colored hair.
Clementine.
Oh, Clementine. That's right.
You kind of look like a Clementine.
you need to stop replacing your personality with a bottle of hair dye.
Joel, you're boring. Joel.
Yeah.
Show me your
Joel.
panties while I sit under the bed, under the table.
And I'm the therapist.
You're Tom Wilkinson?
Tom Wilkinson.
Say something in Tom Wilkinson's accent.
Hello.
Perfect.
Right?
It's like Tom Wilkinson is here.
And I love this movie.
Okay.
No.
Guys, what we seriously need to do is we need to do a bonus Patreon-only special, which is just us recreating as a radio play Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Casting is on point.
Tom Wilkinson for sure. So this one, if you've missed it, we've talked about it in a couple episodes in the past because it's so good. But this man, played by Jim Carrey, goes out and he's heartbroken because his girlfriend breaks up with him. They break up. And in this world, this sci-fi fantasy world in which they live, you can go out and you can get a procedure done that removes your memory.
Yep.
And so then you have to choose. Is the thing that has happened in your life so heartbreaking and awful that you'd rather just have it gone? Maybe the death of your dog is just too sad and you don't want to deal with it. And so that's what this story deals with. So anyway, it's the story of this relationship. And then it's also kind of like she undergoes this procedure and so does he. Well, what's going to happen? Do you really want those memories back? I don't know.
It becomes a little bit of a psychedelic head trip along the way. So
it is.
Maybe that's also a genre.
All mashed up into one genre of mashups.
Very similar, more recent movie, Her, that also I believe would I thought about as but same disqualifications.
Different though.
But more
there is clearly more going on in Eternal.
So that's
Sunshine.
my number 5.
That's why I love this movie.
So good.
Yeah,
so
great movie. Not a genre mashup.
Whatever.
Number 4 to you, Tim.
So my number 4 is a film noir, and it's also a crime thriller.
Okay.
And now lots of films are film noirs and crime thrillers, but how many of those are set in high school?
What's the difference between crime?
I was going to have this one and I left it out.
2005's Brick, still the best film directed and written by Rian Johnson, recently of Star Wars 19 or however many fucking Star Wars has there been. So Brick, the story of a teenage high school private eye played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who this is kind of the film that put Joseph Gordon-Levitt on the map as an interesting young actor as opposed to just that guy who was the kid on Third Rock. Discovers while trying to investigate what happened to his ex-girlfriend a elaborate dope ring being operated out of his high school. Really just a great hard-boiled detective story that also is a sort of teen angst, like my girlfriend left me melodrama. Again, I think Rian Johnson has made a lot of great things in the year since, but he's not, as far as I'm concerned, ever come within a hair's breadth of topping this, which is just such an exciting movie. I mean, it feels like it's kind of been overdone a little bit. It was on. It came out in theaters around the same time that Veronica Mars was doing a similar thing on TV. So now I think the
I loved her.
The hard-boiled teen thing is kind of a thing that we now do. Like there's that Riverdale show, which I think is in similar territory. 2005. This was fucking cool. This was unheard of and just really, really good.
Really good. Great. I like the writing in it.
Oh, the dialogue just sounds like it was left out in the sun to die, and then like 2 years later they found it again.
How do you distinguish crime and noir?
Noir is a specific suite of aesthetics in terms of lighting,
like black and white.
This is not a black and white film, so calling it noir is probably being a little disingenuous. And I do think
add a genre there.
I do think the black and white matters, although there are films in color that are usually called noir. But it's neo noir, let's say. So it's using the sort of like noir implies a certain nihilism of soul. You're
doing that thing where you just start to complicate the answer so that I don't know, and so
noir means that it's very unpleasant.
I see.
Did I ever make you watch this?
No, but I knew you loved it.
I don't think
I
you
knew
will.
You would not like this movie.
Carrie
would not like
Rob's
Brick.
I left it out
before.
because I wanted it to crack my top 5. I had trouble finding like does it just take place in high school or does it? And you've made me rethink that. I think there's enough high school elements there.
He's a Joseph Gordon-Levitt kind of boy, like the sort of pathetic art major sort of thing, who wants his girlfriend, but he gets there
now sold
by virtue of being an even more caustic version of Sam Spade.
We're lining up so far, Tim, in rank and genre types, because I have for you, I will up the ante with a noir-fi.
Noir-fi? Okay.
Neo-noir-fi, which if I thought we were going to cross over. What you're talking about, if we were going to cross over on lists, this would have been the one.
What is this going to be?
Tim knows.
What is it?
It's a film that just had a sequel come out after many, many years.
John Wick?
No. John Wick. Everyone's favorite sci-fi movie.
It's a mashup.
Well, it's kind of a mashup of like fairy tales and action movies.
No, this is a 1982's Blade Runner.
Totally.
Oh.
Yes.
Wait, so you're picking the first or the second?
No, I got to go with the first.
Oh, okay.
The second's only a mashup of things that were already mashed up in the first. I get it. I think it's a total fit.
Absolutely, as a film
noir. I cannot believe this didn't even cross my mind.
But really? Oh, yeah. So we'll swap with Brick.
No, Brick is a better movie.
Brick
is not a better movie than Blade Runner.
Yeah, it's tough to say.
It might be a better mashup than Blade Runner.
What?
I don't know. Go speak.
Yeah, well,
speak,
no,
speak,
because
speak.
when I think about it as a film noir, standing alone as just that hard-boiled, as Tim described, a nihilistic kind of movie, it holds up on that alone, and then it has just this wonderful world of sci-fi that I think fans of both genres can get something out of the movie, and that's why I selected it as mine. And Harrison Ford, Sean Young, Rutger
There's the
Hauer.
romance. Did you say romance too?
No, because I don't include romance.
But there is a romance in
There
this.
is. It's not necessary to qualify for my list, but it does such a great job in each of its distinct genres that's why it makes my list at number 4. Blade Runner, 1982. Everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Or if you haven't, go check it out.
Go see it.
I think what the box office of Blade Runner 2049 tells us is that, in fact, not everybody has seen Blade Runner.
That's true.
That's true. That's true. So I went with my number 3, which is a bit of a, all right, track with me here. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of a crime horror history ants row. No, hang on, wait. Crime or misrants.
I mean, it sounds good.
Does it?
I get, so crime, horror, mystery, romance, and I missed one.
Drama. So much drama. This one freaked me the freak out. So scary, sort of, but tense. Actually, I kind of missed the iller in this. There's definitely a thriller aspect.
All right.
Love this
I feel
movie.
like crime and horror both have thriller adjacent to them so much that it can almost be
Kind of
implied.
like, yeah, I could have said noir if there was some black and white in here too, perhaps.
Done.
But I didn't, because this is the movie that was made a while ago. 7. The movie 7. Like the movie.
That's a movie. It's from
It's a movie.
1995.
David Fincher. And because it's crime. Oh my gosh, crime.
Sure, there's crime. There's crime and
There's
horror. I'll
happening.
give you crime and I'll give
Crime
you
and
horror.
horror for sure. Can you believe the drama that's happening in that movie? Can't believe it. There's 2 detectives that go out, a rookie and a veteran.
Oh, there's the romance. It's between Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I got it.
No, there's other romance too.
I thought it was the unrequited
So
Kevin
they get
Spacey
caught up in
love.
this really
Kevin
dark.
Spacey's love for Brad Pitt's
Brad
lifestyle.
Don't tell
lifestyle,
people
yeah.
what happened. You're telling people what happened.
Not really.
Kind of. And so they go out and they're caught up in this dark crime situation where there's this mysterious unknown person. So it's a little bit of a mystery. Mysterious unknown person is killing people in very scary and horrifying ways. So they have to chase him down to figure out. And then there's this extra layer because Brad Pitt is in love with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Well, they're kind of married.
And they're
so.
married. That's a romance part of
No,
it.
it's not.
Oh, it's for sure.
But marriage and romance are not compatible with each other.
50% of the time, maybe 30, maybe 25% of the time. But either way, this movie, Kevin Spacey, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow's in this too. This movie crosses a lot of lines, a lot of genres. Definitely more.
I'm going to for sure give you 2. I think horror and crime are definitely
horror,
at
crime.
play.
You don't think there's anything dramatic that happens in there? Hey, what's in the box, man?
I think that
Every movie
thriller.
has drama. Every movie.
But that's a genre,
If we
right?
define, it's a genre if you are going by the blockbuster video rules of
Yeah,
genre.
which is
Okay.
what I am doing.
There we go.
And that you didn't think anything was mysterious? You don't
Actually,
think they were trying
I will
to?
say, point in Carrie's favor, Blockbuster. Let's put ourselves back in the misty stretch of time when Blockbuster Video was still around. Where does 7 get shelved?
You don't know.
That
Everywhere.
to me is maybe the best sign of a good genre mashup. I
Yeah. That's
cannot
true.
begin to guess. Is it shelved in drama? Is it shelved in crime? Or is it shelved in horror?
Thriller.
No, horror. I
don't think they
struggle.
had a
I
separate-
struggle with
I
horror.
don't think
Yeah.
they had a thriller section at.
No,
I
they
struggle.
didn't.
I would not call this a horror.
The death scenes
Okay, they're
are
pretty
they
horrific.
are
So
straight-
graphic.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
are
Okay.
saw.
Think about the
Yeah,
obese
that's-
man. Think
Yeah,
about the
no,
guy.
obese
with-
man.
Okay,
Oh, the obese man.
Horror death.
The woman.
Okay.
The vanity.
All right.
All right.
But yeah.
So that's
yeah.
my number 3. Number 3 for me.
So I gotta say, we've been lining up, and I like it. It's exciting to me. Is your next film a domestic drama that is also an environmentalist fable that is also a giant monster movie?
Wow.
Fern Gully?
No, it is not any of those things.
Well, then I'm afraid our lists part ways, because my next film is 2006, The Host, directed by Bong Joon-ho. It's sort of the film where he became like an international celebrity. And it is all of those things. It is the story about how environmental catastrophe causes this giant fucking weird catfish monster to infest the Han River of Seoul, South Korea. And how this intersects with one family's attempts to sort of reconnect and become a better, more loving family where everybody supports each other. This is, to me, one of the great monster movies. flat out. So like it crosses that threshold at least. It's a great monster movie. Also,
Is monster a genre?
monsters, I'd say a genre.
It's not a genre.
It's at least a subgenre. Well, I'm not sure what it would be a subgenre of. Like, is it a horror genre? Or is it a sci-fi genre?
I was just having trouble because I kept picturing Saoirse Ronan, and that is
different
not
the
same.
host.
That is a different the
Different
host.
the host.
Okay. I was like, where were the catfish?
This is one that has. I was going to say it has no names you would know. You might know the name Duna Bai.
Okay.
Who is in Cloud Atlas.
Interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah, this is a great movie. Great monster movie, great family drama. Bong Joon-ho's films are this sort of genre unto themselves almost, but all different, where they have this kind of
Snowpiercer,
Okja, Memories of Murder, like kind of. They're all genre riffs in their own way. They're all really great character pieces. Like that's the thing he's really good at, is putting very vivid character stories into these heightened genre settings.
Say the name again.
The Host.
The Host.
Directed by Bong Joon-ho, 2006, a South Korean production.
And how many genres?
I'd comfortably say 3. This is the only one that I would say for sure has more than 2 on my list.
And when you think about it, Snowpiercer also
I know.
quite the mix-up, genre mashup there.
Yeah, so this is to me his best movie.
I should have thought of Snowpiercer.
Well, maybe not. Mother is very good, but Mother's less of a mashup.
Got to catch up with this.
You totally do. It's so great. You'd love it, Robin.
Yeah, we still need to see Okja care. We got to do that.
The pig movie?
This is a better movie
Yeah.
than Okja
Okay.
that does a lot of the same things.
No, I went with for my number 3. I went with Horrify, but the one
Horrify?
that Tim had mentioned earlier that was disqualified because it's been done, but it hadn't been done. I don't think to this effect. In 1979, when Alien came out, Ridley Scott's
Alien's very good.
It's very good.
It's so good that if you're not disqualifying it, I'm not sure why it's not your number 1. But we'll get to your number 1 and number 2. So.
Actually, I like my number 1 and number 2 movies better, which will be shameful.
There aren't 2 movies better than Alien. No, it's confusing.
We've talked about Alien on so many episodes, but it is a perfect movie from a sci-fi perspective. You get what you want if you're a sci-fi lover. You get what you want if you're a horror. It builds tension so well.
True.
Tight spaces. Creature, which basically it's a slasher film. We've talked about that too, but it's a horror slasher alien movie.
Thing.
Yeah, it deals with
Lots of aliens.
Yeah,
just one.
Not for you, Karen? Doesn't meet your list?
No.
Would it make your criteria?
Yeah, it would. Just didn't
It
have
only has
enough.
2 genres.
It only has two genres.
She's going for quantity over quality.
So if Sigourney
right.
and Tom Skerritt, which I believe in the first cut of this movie, I think
if they had like
they had
explicit sex, then we had pornography.
Yeah.
And if they do it while singing, we would
Then
have
there would have been
musical.
romance.
Then we would have had 4.
So that is my number 3. One of the great movies. Not as great as my number 2 and my
The
number 1.
only thing that could actually make that
I
better.
already know that's a lie.
My number 2 can only up the ante from that because, again, more genres. So this one brings you the sci-horror addiction ants.
I believe you are now speaking in a glottal language that is not even English.
This has 6 genres.
All right.
And I don't know why you didn't choose this one, Rob, because this ups the ante from yours, but I bring you Aliens 2, which is a sci-fi horror comedy, because now you've got yourself some Bill Paxton in there.
I am going to say there is a profound difference between having comic relief and being a comedy, but continue.
I laughed. Definitely during Bill Paxton's pieces in there. Action. So much action's going on. Romance, because now you have Newt and Sigourney in there, so now you've got a romance piece. There's like a love piece. There's a love segment in there. I definitely felt the romance.
I'm profoundly
They loved
deeply
each other so
uncomfortable.
much.
Newt's 8.
You don't have to have like you can have a romantic love without being.
I would like to continue this fascinating philosophy of yours off the air.
Yeah, and it's a thriller. And so I bring you Aliens 2, which ups the ante from just the 2 genres. And this was the better Aliens anyway. So
If you would have picked like Hicks and Sigourney.
Hicks and Newt. Now we're talking about
now that's a romance. Hicks and Ripley together.
How about we swap family drama in for romance? How's that strike you?
family drama with a bit of romance. Yeah. But they loved each other. She loved her so
But
much. She
it's-
took care of her so
Yes,
much.
but that's because it's a story about surrogate mothers finding surrogate daughters.
I know, which was filled with love.
Yes.
And so this is the better because this is the one where Ellen Ripley comes. Everything's already happened.
Well, no,
All
we've
this-
established that Ellen Ripley comes in your very bizarre rereading of the film.
I don't even know where to go from there, actually. I can't segue. So they come back and, she comes back to save them again. But this has more to it, I think, than the first Alien.
Oh, yeah. No, the first Aliens is just basically a wind-up toy, and this is like a war epic.
Yeah.
So that's actually another genre. You got a war film in
And
here.
a war film, too.
It's a war film.
Yeah. So that's why it makes my number 2. More genre-ish than Alien. Number 2.
All right. I just need to psychologically recover from the conversation we just had. So my number 2, we're getting now into like stuff you guys haven't seen. Maybe Rob's seen my number 2. So this one is I don't know. These are arty films.
Kara's making a poop joke.
You forgot to flush earlier.
I get it. I am not going to deign to defend myself against someone who just talked about Sigourney Weaver having sex with an 8-year-old.
So what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is a combination of the hip hop movie, the assassin thriller, the samurai film, and if we count it as its own genre, the American independent cinema, which genre is a question mark there, but it's people have identified it as a genre. Referring to Jim Jarmusch's 1999 Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai.
I have seen this.
Which is about a hitman played by Forrest Whitaker who has built his life and his code around the Bushido, the samurai code of honor. And beautiful film. This is, I think, probably Jim Jarmusch's, maybe his most widely seen film, because it does kind of have those like vaguely genre-y things on it. It does have a hip-hop culture thing around it. Still an art film. Still a pretty slow-moving, moody, psychological piece, but Jim Jarmusch is very good at doing those kinds of things. Forrest Whitaker is phenomenal in this. This was, I think, the first time that I really was like, holy shit, that guy is the best actor. This is a movie that I sadly don't revisit nearly as much as I revisit some other Jarmusch films, but it is, like a lot of people my age, it's probably the one that got me into Jarmusch in the first place, and it's just so good.
Broken Flowers Care.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Patreon request.
Same director.
Also the director of Dead Man, which is a Western, but only a Western.
Something cigarettes?
Coffee and Cigarettes,
Yes.
which is only coffee and only cigarettes, and they're kind of the same genre.
Did these movies end without resolution, or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
That's his thing, baby.
Yeah.
He likes to
Love
make you
it.
feel like
I
there's
love not knowing.
no sort of closure about anything.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about this. Certainly a genre mashup for sure.
Yeah, so you have seen this.
Yeah, I have seen
I thought
it.
you might have.
Yes.
You were in college the same time.
I was kind of hoping for a lot of samurai, more action.
It's more the spiritual half of the samurai genre than the killing people with swords half of the samurai genre.
So a bit of a letdown, but great, good movie. Good movie.
Damn good movie.
Not as good as my. I've got you here.
Do you think we'll match up on our number 2 and 1?
This is a let me see, a super western. If
Okay.
you will. Or I can't think of anything else.
It's John Wayne.
No,
Wild West.
This is a recent movie, 2017, where you saw finally a superhero movie done right.
Okay.
Had to include this
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a western and a superhero movie.
Oh, Magnificent 8.
No, Logan.
Oh,
Right? Can this?
Yeah,
mash up?
it is.
It mashes the two.
It
I
is
don't
a
remember any
superhero
horses
movie,
in it.
and
It is an aging cowboy.
Oh yeah, no,
Where's
it's
the- there were no
it's straight up
horses.
a remake of Shane.
Yeah.
There was no cowboy hats or horses or guns, really.
I don't want to. I think you might need to revisit whether there are no cowboy hats.
There
That's
might have
true.
been
I
one
believe
or
the little
two.
girl is wearing one like in a montage scene.
Oh, so you're right then, Rob. You're
It
right.
is a modern western done, or a superhero movie done as a modern western, and I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. And I can't stop thinking about
I
it.
love it too, but you know what movie I love better than it?
What?
Alien.
Yeah. Aliens.
It's so recent. I have
Also,
the recency.
Aliens.
yeah.
I just love Logan. I just
Logan's
can't
a
get it
good
out of my
movie.
head.
Logan's a real good movie.
Can't get it out of my head.
And I think it does, in fact, feel like a genre mashup in a way that maybe no other superhero movie does. I mean, like there's
And
Spider-Man as a superhero high school comedy.
Well, and that's what I was
but
struggling.
also not really.
If you put a superhero movie into a setting, is the setting enough to be a genre? That's what I struggled with this.
I think
with
the
this.
only
much
setting,
like Brick. Like
I think
it's a film noir in a high school setting.
I think the West and space are the only settings that can actually be genres.
Okay, so we're
Yeah.
good.
And I will say this to your point. a lover of one genre but not the other has to be able to like get into it. My dad has no real use for superhero movies and doesn't like the X-Men like at all. But is a huge Western fan, and we watched this over Christmas break, and he loved it.
Oh,
it's good.
That
It's
feels
a good one.
Has your dad seen this, Karen? Because
I'm
he
sure
loves Westerns.
has. I'm sure he has.
My dad would be the test because he's a Western lover and he just hates.
But he's a Western lover, but
Superhero.
he's actually only seen like one Western.
Yeah.
So he just talks about that one Western over and over again. Whenever we see him, every time we see him, we're like, "Have you ever seen what's the one that he always talks about?"
Oh, he talks about Guns of Navarone.
Oh, yeah, Guns of
but that's
Navarone.
not a
There
Western.
is
you ever
there
seen
is
Guns
a
of Navarone?
robust history of Eastern European quasi-Westerns.
Well, there you go.
So maybe he's just seen a bunch of Polish Westerns.
It could be, but I doubt it.
There's a Russian genre called the Eastern because Russia's sandy frontier was the East, not the West.
He hasn't seen those either.
Well, he might have.
I kind of
the right
figured.
age.
I kind of figured we wouldn't have any overlap, and so
I
far
didn't-
that has
yeah.
because this
We're,
is just
we're all
you-
going to have the same number one.
Same
I feel
number
good
one.
About it.
All right,
Feel
number
real
one,
good about
Karen.
it.
You think so? All right. This is where things get real good for me at my number one.
So you need to have at least 7
It's actually just, I think
because you
it's
had
6.
6.
Yeah, I'm
before.
going to add one in
Okay.
there. So this is a Western crime, war, romance, fantasy, drama, adventure.
Which Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
I know what this is.
What is it?
Lord of the Rings.
Yes! Yes!
Karen's gonna be so mad at me. I peeked.
Yes!
I peeked at your list when we were driving earlier.
You're such a jerk.
She hates.
You're
That's like
such a
her worst
jerk.
fear. That's
That's
her
our
worst
worst fear.
Worst fear is me peeking at her
Don't
list.
ever peek.
I would like you to go through your list again, please.
I'm always like, don't ever peek at my list. You peeked. I thought you knew me. You don't even know me. You just peeked. I feel so hurt right now. I don't even know what to say.
That's shitty, man. That is
really
that's
shitty,
against the
man.
podcast. That's against the podcast code.
Yeah.
Me knowing that you're a predictable son of a bitch who's going to inaccurately call Alien and genre mashup is not the same at all.
Totally different. I'm so mad at you right now. I don't even know how to deal with these feelings
You
that I'm
deal
having.
with it by replacing it with Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, and that'll show the fucker.
Yeah, right? Right? It wasn't Lord of the Rings. It was Indiana Jones. But anyway.
So what were the genres that you
So
called?
this is a
mystery?
crime.
Crime.
Is it?
theft of the ring. Theft of the ring, and they're trying to steal it.
Who stole the ring? In the original Lord of the Rings?
Wait, what? So let me tell you a little
They're
about
trying to
this movie
return the
first.
ring to its rightful owner.
Give it right back to Sauron.
No, but everyone's trying to steal it. All like the wispy horsemen are all trying to steal the ring.
So it hasn't been stolen.
Yeah, but
They're
it's
trying to steal it back.
Trying to
It's
steal it
like
back.
Ocean's 12 as
exactly,
opposed to Ocean's 11.
exactly. Plus war. The entire
War-
movie
war's
is
there. I get
obviously
war.
war. Romance.
Sure.
The elf people.
Not as what?
The elves.
But
Fairies?
But with
Elves?
the guy, not
Pointy
between
ears?
themselves.
The Liv Tyler.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay.
Orlando
So
Bloom.
not gonna say that that's
Well,
sure.
There is no love story between the two of them, but okay.
No, they're into each other.
Wait. Who's into each other?
Liv Tyler is
Yeah.
into
And
Orlando
not
Bloom.
Orlando Bloom. no.
Who's she into?
Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo.
Right, of course. And
No, you're thinking of John Rhys Davies and Orlando Bloom are into each other.
oh, that's what it was. That's
Very,
exactly what it was.
Very much so.
I can't think of who that is off the top of my mind, which makes this more weird. But then obviously fantasy.
Obviously fantasy.
So much fantasy. Ugh, the drama. Can you believe the drama in this movie? And adventure.
All right. And
So
I'm going to give you
adventurous.
another one. Horror.
Horror.
There's at least as much horror
The
as there are like
orcs.
4 of
Think
the
about
things
the
you just
orcs.
said.
Imagine if an orc was coming at your face. You'd be like, ah.
I'm more referring to like the like straight up ghost sequences.
Oh, yeah, those are really scary too. Yeah, they're everywhere. So this entire movie is written, directed by Matt Ross. The entire series, I couldn't even
Beg your pardon.
Lord of the Rings?
Not Matt Ross.
Who does this one? Tolkien?
You're working a little too
Is
fast.
this Tolkien?
A little too
It's
fast.
based
certainly written by
on the
Tolkien.
novels by Tolkien.
Tolkien, see, but I'm just flying off the cuff right now.
Written by Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens,
Yeah.
and the director,
Yeah.
who is Fran Walsh's husband,
Sure.
who used to be fat and is
Obviously.
now skinny.
Peter.
But he's still from New Zealand.
Peter Tolkien.
Jack.
Peter
Peter
Tolkien.
Jenkins?
Peter
Jackson.
Jackson.
Jackson. Oh, that's actually what I was about to say.
What on earth? Who is Matt Ross?
I don't actually know.
Let's think back to last week's Carrie's number
What was
one.
our number one?
The whole thing for me this week was not to make mistakes, and I obviously didn't do that, but I made it close. And so all of these movies fall into genre mashups for me. They cross over.
He's the director of Captain Fantastic.
There's Viggo Mortensen.
No, that's not it too.
Oh, maybe that's how that, because Viggo Mortensen is
Viggo Mortensen.
the 6 Degrees of Matt Ross.
He's also on
been.
Silicon Valley.
I'll get back to you.
He's also in Face Off.
But they go out, and then they go out to get the ring. All right. Anyway, move on to your number one.
All right. So Jean-Luc Godard, who we talked about earlier tonight, in 1961 released a film that he described as a neo-realist musical. That is to say, a contradiction in terms. So he's right, because neorealism, definitionally, everything that happens in reality. Musicals, pretty much by definition, people are just walking down the street and all of a sudden they start singing. That's not realist. It's not realist at all. And yet here we are with A Woman is a Woman, 1961, Jean-Luc Godard's, I think only his second feature film, stars Anna Karina as Angela, the woman who is a woman. And it's basically just like this very pedestrian slice of life amongst people in the, their early 20s in Paris at this, time of great social upheaval, where every now and then this very sort of gritty, ugly story about people is interrupted by these very stylized, sort of tuneless musical numbers. And along the way, the whole thing is in gorgeous CinemaScope and Technicolor. So you have all sorts of things that shouldn't fit together, deliberately jarring with each other. So this is not one of those genre mashups where everything feels like it slots together well. Like the whole point is that you constantly feel like the movie is not working, because that's kind of the experiment. But it is a hell of a good experiment. One of my favorite Jean-Luc Godard films.
It's a musical?
It is a musical and a neorealist film.
Okay. That wasn't a mashup I had.
Just the two there.
Just the
two.
two.
Is that okay with you, Kara?
For your number one.
Well, technically, neo and realist could potentially be two different genres.
If I'm trying to get into some Jean-Luc Godard,
this would be a good one to start with. Honestly,
this is a good start.
I would say the best one to start with, if you're just trying to see if you like his stuff, would probably be Band of Outsiders. But this would be a really good.
Woman of a Woman.
Woman is a Woman.
Woman is a Woman.
Est une femme.
Okay.
My number one is
okay. Give me some clues.
Heist
Huh?
Heist
German?
Heist.
No, it's a
watch two movies about Hitler today.
Right? Heist
Okay.
Shun. A heist sci-fi action
movie. You're doing the thing.
It's a poster on our...
Thanks for sticking with that.
I was trying to. You had set the rules.
I thought you were just being...
Inception is not better than Alien, you ass.
You got there first. How did you get there first?
Because you said there's a poster on your wall.
I know, but Carrie should know the posters on our wall.
I didn't even hear what you said. I was going with Titanic.
Are you saying it's not a genre mashup?
No, I'm saying it's not as good of a film as Alien.
Okay, so I spoke to... It is number 14 on IMDb. Number 14
was
that's because the racist 17-year-olds like it better than the movie where they have to deal with a female action lead.
Christopher Nolan just brings it with this one. It is a heist movie.
What are the genres here?
Heist, sci-fi, action movie.
Heist isn't a genre.
Heist is a genre.
It's a genre of film.
I could have used that. That's thriller crime. Crime.
Heist supersedes crime as a separate genre.
Really?
I would say.
How many heist movies? A lot of heist. So many heist movies.
Yeah, but I would have called
this one
steals
your dreams.
Yeah.
Plants dreams.
Not ideal.
Actually, it's kind of a
But
reverse
How to
heist.
Steal a Million steals your heart.
That's true. It's a reverse heist. Whether this is better or Alien or not, that remains to be seen. For me, this...
No, it doesn't.
Okay. It is a reverse heist movie, actually. Sci-fi action movie. Takes place...
Because they're giving away your dreams.
Yes. So it's a thief who's excellent at stealing corporate secrets through deep dream sharing technology. Has to actually go the reverse way and plant a dream, plant a memory into the CEO for hire. Otherwise, his world gets turned upside down. He can't see his kids. That sort of thing. Stars Leo... JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's made two
Leo,
of our
your
lists.
good friend Leo, who you don't even need to say.
Don't need to say his
Leo
name.
D.
Leo D. Little Tom Hardy in here, Ellen Page, Michael Caine. Great movie. It's a great movie. Tim, you don't like this movie. I don't know.
I like it fine.
Okay, good.
It ain't as fucking good as Alien.
Standards.
It's not even as good as a genre mashup as Alien.
I can tell you're questioning yourself.
I am. I told you I questioned myself this whole list. I felt good about that.
As long as
right
you
up until
feel
now.
bad about the choices
I felt
you
good
made.
up until Alien, and now I feel
That's because
bad.
Alien's the best film on your list.
Okay,
I'm not even sure that's true. It might not be as good as Blade Runner. The point being, you have two Ridley Scott
You put
films
Blade Runner ahead of Alien.
and two films that are not Ridley Scott films.
But Christopher Nolan.
I mean, Christopher Nolan has a higher batting average than Ridley Scott.
I really enjoyed this movie. I love heist movies. I love sci-fi movies. I love dreams stuff. I know that's not its own thing, and then this is filled with action. It's basically Matrix, which is one of my favorite movies. Weaving in dream stuff as well, and then stealing things or implanting
It's crime.
things.
You didn't even say crime.
Crime.
Well, like I said, heist is crime.
But it's like a subgenre, you know?
Heist is crimes. Heist is crime, Chappie. And I've done that before.
Yes, you have.
Wonder if 4 Oscars.
It was weird before, and like no one reacted, and then it's weird because you did
only
it again.
Tim has
you know?
seen it, and he doesn't like the movie. If you'd hear Chappie deliver that line, heist
the only
is
reason
crimes.
I'm laughing is because I like your accent.
That's how.
Are you saying that all the many millions of people who love Chappie would like that bit?
They would like that bit.
Because I don't think there's anyone who loves Chappie besides you.
Yeah.
Carrie would like it. She likes Short Circuit. She'd like the Short Circuit Part 3, which is what is.
I think that is very harsh to Short Circuit and its sequel.
That's all I have.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
And every week we ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Based on the results, here were our audience's
Okay,
top
I'm ready.
5 picks. Let's see.
Lord of the Rings.
Tied at number 5. By the way, not a lot of overlap with the audience either. It was
Okay.
I had to scrape the barrel. We did manage to get a top 5 because it was all over the place.
Sure.
This is a tough top 5 for folks. Tied for number 5.
Okay.
Bone Tomahawk.
All right.
And
Eternal Sunshine.
yes.
I just made that up.
How'd you know?
I don't know. I was
Okay.
looking at it
Did
on
you
my
peek-
list.
Did you peek on my list?
I didn't. I would never peek at your list.
She has class.
Yes, scruples. Number 4, Shaun of the Dead. One that I thought about,
See,
but
that was one of the ones that I came up with the list, the rule specifically to discard Shaun of the Dead.
number 3 I kind of like, and I wish I would have thought about it some more.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It's a genre,
I
actually.
thought about
It's
that.
noir.
It's
It's animation.
It's hard for me to say what the other genre being mashed besides noir
Animation.
is. But animation's not a genre.
Oh, it for sure
It
is.
for sure isn't.
I think I know.
I think that I'm getting my PhD in animation is not a
but
genre.
I heard you're not doing that
Carrie
well.
represents
Okay.
the people, Tim. the
people-
majority.
Our mistake.
Number 2, Alien. And number 1, in Tim's order of best movies, Blade Runner.
All right.
At number 1.
So Rob, clearly the one who has the pulse of the audience on this one.
Based on movies that were on my list, clearly not on order at all, but
I mean, still, you've got 3. I had none, and Carrie had 1.
there you go.
So
That was
And
it.
our lucky winner this week, Dan Prestwich, who had Bone Tomahawk, Donnie Darko, no particular order, From Dusk Till Dawn. I thought about it. I've included From Dusk Till Dawn on too many other movies, or too many other lists. Kill Bill and Aliens. Karen?
Aliens.
Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Kill Bill's
That's a
good-
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan.
Quentin Tarantino, and by the way, two of those on that list. He's a bit of a mashup
Yeah.
person.
I get that, for sure.
So he does a lot of those. So go ahead, Dan, shoot us an email at contact@alternate for details on how to claim your free movie rental. If you want to win a free movie like Dan, be on the lookout for a spoiler alert or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter. Share your favorite picks. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Check us out on social media. Go out to our Facebook page and like it. Check us out on Twitter. Go out to alternateending.com for all our movie reviews, podcasts, and more. Subscribe to our podcasts on iTunes or Google. And don't forget about Patreon. It's going to be a couple weeks since we're back. We're taking
a little bit of a break.
Yep.
Partially
Two-week
for
break.
some mental health, partially just because I need to get papers written. So
Yeah.
thank you guys. So in lieu of a podcast next week, rather than us giving you something, we're going to ask you to give us something. We're going to put together a little fundraising drive. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that. If you love the show, love the reviews, you might want to think about maybe just pitching $1 or $2 our way, just because, we love doing it, but it ain't free.
Yeah, we have some big plans too that we want to incorporate. We can't do that without your help. So check out alternating.com in the next few weeks. We're going to be giving some more details about how all that's going to work. And when we get back in 3 weeks, hopefully we'll be back with a completed fundraiser, having met all of our goals, and we'll come back with our top 5 anticipated movies of the summer.
Yes.
As long as Marvel doesn't keep screwing things up and moving
Eventually,
things along.
everything will get moved out, and the only film opening this summer is going to be like fucking first Reformed.
Well, we'll catch you then.